Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MarauderEX here with collection videos. Yeah, I've used to have these up on my channel before my channel went down the first time. And then I realized when I was re-uploading and dealing with all my videos that were on my channel that my collection videos were terribly out of date. And now that I'm actually getting kind of close to finishing up my wish list games, when I started game collecting, I say that with quotations because I'm not by any means a hardcore collector. I have a couple of hardcore titles, but I'm not a hardcore collector. I've got a set of shelves behind me that way, filled with games, and that's about it. And when I fill that shelf up, that's pretty much going to be it. I'm not going to do too much else. With my wish lists almost done for all of the systems that I've got, I figured I'd go ahead and I'd redo the collection videos, make them a little more up to date as to what I actually have. And we're going to start off with Sega Saturn titles because that is, you know, my system of choice. One thing I will note, I got flack the first set of videos I had on this because of the cases. This is an original Sega Saturn case. This is for Dragon Force. It's a huge case. Dragon Force manual. I mean, it's a very large case, and it's not quite twice the size lengthwise of a standard CD case, but as you can see, it's a huge plastic, and it's thin plastic, brittle plastic. As you can see on this one, my Dragon Force case has seen better days. It has this giant crack on the bottom of it because it's a giant wedge of plastic, thin plastic, that has no support structure to it. And the problem is, you also have this huge area for CDs, which the CD itself only takes up that much space. So I can't tell you how many times I bought a game and the disc was just loose, bouncing around in it, and you had to open it up to take care of it. I don't have all of my original Saturn cases. I have maybe about half a dozen of them. What I did instead is I did this. These are standard DVD size cases. Albert Odyssey is actually not in here now. It's actually in my Saturn playing music at the moment because, you know, I like the Albert Odyssey soundtrack. But I bought a lot of frosted DVD size cases, and I went to thecoverproject.net, printed out DVD size cover art for all of these games, and went that way with it. Rather than, I mean, that's the difference in size between the cases. I mean, it's about a quarter of an inch size difference, and then God only knows how much width. But it's, yeah. It's a lot better, but I get a lot of flack from collectors, and I do weep as a fledgling game collector that I don't have all of the original cases. It does make me sad. I do have the manuals. I do have all the manuals. I'm not going to be showing off all the manuals because, again, the manual size versus the DVD case is the same size. Manuals were designed for the original Saturn cases, so. But I do have the manuals for the games, so. And I'm never going to sell these. They're mine. I'm not going to get rid of them. So, as opposed to for collecting value, they're mine. But starting off, Albert Odyssey. Because you just saw it. It's in the Saturn now playing. I've done a Let's Play of it. I can't really say too much about this game that I haven't already said. Great JRPG. Lots of random battles. Like, if you're a fan of random battles, you'll have fun with this. God, random battles. Next, we have a stall. I gotta find a place that I can actually put this without glare, is what I've gotta do. A stall! Really gorgeous 2D platformer. Like, the artwork all looks hand-drawn. It's a gorgeous game. Well worth picking up if you're a platformer fan. Battle Arena Toshinden Remix. Terrible, terrible 3D fighting game based with, it's kind of like Street Fighter meets Soul Calibur. Like, you can shoot fireballs from your swords. What more could you ask? But it's a terrible game, terrible voice acting, terrible everything. I got it because I watched the anime first and thought, oh, this could be cool. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was terrible. I can't say terrible enough about that game. Next, Bug. This is a quasi 3D platformer. It's more 2.5D. You only really move on one plane at a time, but you can move back and forth and forward and back. But it's an interesting little game. Cheeky little Bug. I also have the sequel, Bug 2, in which they introduce Superfly and Maggot, which are two other characters. Why I got nothing for that, but it's there. Late arrival on the Saturn lifespan, Burning Rangers. This is a kind of an awesome 3D platformer where you play firefighters in the future, where you have lasers that put out fires and turn them into crystals. Really expansive game, kind of set up on the A-Life system from Knights, where choices you make kind of change. If you rescue one person, they can actually send you mail, which you can interact with that person that you've rescued to an extent, and that'll kind of change certain things later on in the game. It's weird, but very, very underrated title, very odd title, but the oddity paid off. This is not really a full game. This is Christmas Nights into Dreams. This is the demo disc. I've done a Let's Play of this. It's basically 2 levels for a holiday sampler and then a bunch of really odd extras. This is a custom case for it because it didn't even come in a full-size Saturn case. It came in a cardboard sleeve. It was a demo disc that was released with, I forget what magazine, but demo disc only. So, next up, Clockwork Knight and Clockwork Knight 2. This one has a PAL case, so the black lettering, because that was all that was available on the cover project when I did these. These are actually really, really cute 2D platformers, very Toy Story-esque. You're a wind-up knight saving a princess from modern mechanized problems. Like, everything that you fight is battery-operated because it's evil. It's a really, really cute game. The first and second games are actually very, very similar, so if you have one, you pretty much have the other, and they even recount the story of the first one in the first few minutes of the second one. So if you have the second one, you don't really need to play the first one, and I think all the bosses are the same, because why not? Croc, Legend of the Gobos. This is a game that was also, I've got the PAL artwork for it. Not that there's really much of a difference. This is a 3D platformer, very much like Mario 64-esque, but you play a crocodile rescuing little furry things called gobos. It was released on the Sega Saturn and the PS1. Minor differences because of hardware for both of them. Great game on either system. Kind of aggravating at times because it's not nearly as refined as Mario 64. So, this one I have nothing to say about. D, this was actually purchased by an ex. I gave her my Saturn at one point while we were dating, while I was playing. Like, I had a Dreamcast at that point, and so I let her have the Saturn until we broke up, and this is one of the things she purchased. I got nothing to say about it. It's survival horror, kind of weird. It's like Myst meets Resident Evil, from what I can tell. I've never played it. I have had no inclination to play it. There's a couple other games here that fall under that list. But because they're Saturn titles, I don't want to get rid of them because they're kind of hard to find. This one I did get myself. Darius Gaiden. In the Darius series, shoot 'em up, side-scrolling game. You can't go wrong with that on the Saturn. That's one of the Saturn's strengths, is 2D arcade-style games. This is a good one. Again, the PAL artwork on it, but not really much of a difference. Another odd game, Dark Savior. This is in the Landstalker series. Landstalker, Lady Stalker, Time Stalkers. This is related to that. But you play a bounty hunter that's taking a prisoner to a prison island, and then all hell breaks loose. But the thing is, there's different memories attached to different people. So you play through the game and you actually have to play through it multiple times to get the full story because one story may not be true. It's mind-blowing. It's also 3D isometric, so that's actually what kind of threw me off on it, and what turned me off on the game is because the platforming sections can be a bitch. So I avoided that for a while, but I do own it. It's an interesting RPG. Next, Daytona. Let's roll away. I got nothing else to say about that. It's a classic arcade racing game. You can race as a horse. Daytona! I expect to see that in the comments. This game, I really can't say anything more about. Dragon Force. This is the actual US. And it's even shiny because Working Designs was the shit back in the day, man. Look at this. This manual has seen much better days, but full color manual. Dragon Force, I've done a Let's Play of this. I will be doing another Let's Play of this because my first one was crappy quality. It upset me how crappy the quality was after I uploaded all of it. I've done a charity event for this. I played this for 12 hours straight, raising money for cystic fibrosis. It is my favorite game of all time. There's a cat in the background. Stop it. Hey, interlude. Dragon Force, great game. It's very expensive, but well worth every single penny of it. Another game purchased by an ex. Dragonheart Fire and Steel. It's a terrible, terrible 2D action platformer. I've played it for about 5 minutes. Next up, Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, there's really not much that can be said about this. It's the Duke, it's 3D. Cat. It's the Saturn version, which supported Netlink. And that's really the only good thing about it. It's not as good as other versions of the Duke, but still worth picking up if you have a Saturn. And it has a hidden game in it. I forget the name. It's like Death Tank, something like that. It's like Worms or Scorched Earth on steroids. It's kind of awesome. And Axis is now going to help me finish up these next couple of games. Fighters Mega Mix. This is Virtua Fighter meets Fighting Vipers and a bunch of hidden characters. There's meat on a stick that is a playable character. One of the cars from Daytona, USA is a playable character. There's nothing else that can be said about that. You can play a fighting game as a car or meat on a stick. What more do people want from your fighting games? Great game. I might do a thing of that on YouTube as well. Next, a good one. Me and Keelix have played this one. Guardian Heroes. This actually just came out on Xbox Live in HD, but to me, nothing will beat the original. This game is just fan-freaking-tastic. If you have a Saturn multi-tap, I don't. They're expensive, man. Ass expensive. But you can get like 12 people playing this game. So, like, I think you can put 2 multi-taps together and have all 12 people play this. It's a great multiplayer game. If you can get all 4 people to play it, and just go through the story, it's fantastic. Next up, Herc's Adventures. This is a odd, really, really odd, kind of Zelda-esque, like Link to the Past clone, where you play as either Jason, Athena, or Hercules. It's super strange. It's super frustrating at times too. If you have the game doesn't really tell you where to go, so if you have no idea what you're doing, you can spend hours just not actually getting anywhere, which is what I did in this game for the longest time. But once you know where you're going, it can be really fun. Next up, Hexen. This is the successor to Doom. This is actually the sequel to a game called Heretic that was, I think, only on PC. It may have been released on consoles, but Hexen was released on Saturn, I believe the PS1, and maybe the N64 as well. I don't quite remember. But it's from id Software. It's like Doom, but it's medieval, so your weapons are all swords that shoot lasers and fire and skulls and shit. It's crazy. But I loved Heretic. It was a really dark, gothic style Doom without the modern Goes to Mars overtones. Not as good on the Saturn as I remember it being on PC, but next up, I've actually had this game requested to do a Let's Play of a lot, and I am going to get to it one of these days, I promise. But it's taken forever for me to get into this. Iron Storm. It's a World War II tactical role-playing game. Really good game. Really in-depth. It's like... Imagine Advance Wars if Advance Wars were more serious, and instead of a square grid, it's a hex grid. So, lots more weird movement options. But, it's a working designs game, so you know it's got to be at least half good. And it actually is. It really is. But it's just taken me so long to actually get into it, and I haven't gotten far enough into it where I feel comfortable doing a Let's Play of it, because I'm still kind of blind at it. Next up, Legend of Oasis. This is a sequel to a Genesis title, Beyond Oasis. It's actually the known as the story of Thor elsewhere. I don't know why we had to name it Oasis, but it is a Zelda clone. It's a great Zelda clone. Top-down action RPG. You don't... I mean, it helps to have played Beyond Oasis, but you don't have to. But it makes a lot of references. But great Zelda clone. And last for this part, because I'm going to split this into 3 parts for the Saturn, because I'm already at like 17 minutes almost. And yeah. I got lots of Saturn stuff. Last on this part is Magic Knight Ray Earth. I've done a Let's Play of this. This is a Secret of Mana Legend of Zelda style game. You control 3 girls, one with fire, one with water, one with wind powers, based off of a very, very popular graphic novel in Japan. One of the coolest stories I read, I remember reading this when I actually still picked up Shonen Jump, the translated Shonen Jump that actually made it over here. I picked one of these up like early 90s, and it had Magic Knight in it, and I was just blown away. I knew it was 3 girls, but it was still, the art style was amazing, and most of my friends were, oh, you like girl anime, it's a great game. And the story just really tugs at the heartstrings. It just really blindsides you. I've done a Let's Play of it. Go watch it. Watch it. Watch my stuff. Go do it. So that's the first part. I've got the other half of the games, and then I've got technical stuff for the Saturn that I want to show off. So yeah, there's all that. So stick around for parts 2 and 3 of the Saturn stuff, and then all of the other collection videos that I'm going to be working on. Until then, later everyone.